Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here and welcome back to another crypto video. Today we're going to be tackling a couple of really interesting XRP subjects. These will be: how many XRP should you own? Will XRP be able to make you a millionaire? Can you retire holding XRP? And also questions like, what if the burn rate of XRP goes up ridiculously much and all that people are holding is a steady amount, so there will be no more transactions possible and such? A lot of these questions we're going to be tackling in this video, so make sure you watch it all the way till the end, and also make sure you press the like button if you appreciate the content and subscribe for more of this type of stuff. Also guys, I want to know in the comment section, and you must put it there, what country were you born in? So maybe that's not the country your parents are from, maybe that's not the country you're living right now, but what country were you born in? Put it in the comment section and let's get into the video. So on my channel, I have sometimes made a couple of videos that are on the lines of how many XRP should you hold to retire, or how many should you own, or will it be able to make you a millionaire? A lot of different subjects we have already tackled on the channel. But here I'm trying to bundle a lot of the knowledge I gained from making all of those videos into one good and combined story. So let's start from the beginning. I'm hoping you guys already know what Ripple is and what XRP is, so we can kind of skip that part, but I guess one thing everybody should know is the supply. So if you check live CoinWatch, you would most likely already know most of all of this stuff, but if you check XRP out, just give it a little bit of a sneak peek, or actually, for example, XRP charts could work well for this as well. You could see that XRP has a total supply of 99.9 billion. Actually, a total supply of 100 billion, which you can be seen right here. Total market cap of $26 billion, but a circulating supply of 42 billion. This means that a lot is somewhere else, right? Because the total supply is 99.9, circulating is 42. Well, Ripple owns a lot of it. 50 something billion is what they own. And of course, a couple of huge players also own a couple of billion of XRP. But that all can be seen in this rich list. Here you can see the biggest accounts and how much XRP they have. For example, there are 6 accounts that hold 1 billion XRP or more. There are 10 accounts that hold 500 million XRP or more. There are 55 accounts who hold between 100 million XRP and 500 million, and so you can go on for quite a while. Most people will most likely fall between these categories, which are most likely the 1.6 or something million, maybe even the 1.8 million of the people. 1.8 million of the people, which is most likely 90% or so, hold less than 25,000 XRP, which is definitely also understandable, but hey, let's keep that in the back of our heads for now. Since there is a maximum supply of 100 billion coins, there are 7.5 billion people on Earth. Let's round it up to 8 for convenience. It is safe to say that if every person on Earth were to hold XRP, no person could have more than 12.5 XRP. I just thought that was something that's quite convenient and interesting to take a look at and to think about, that even if every person on Earth, and we are talking about the maximum supply, which you could never get to, were to hold XRP, they could never get more than 12.5. So from that perspective, if you actually have double, so for example 25, there will always be a person that has less than you, which is definitely interesting to see in the grand scheme of things. How you calculate that is, of course, just 100 billion XRP divided by 8 billion people gives 12.5 XRP per person. Now, I actually put a big discussion point here because I think otherwise I would forget to talk about it in this video, and that is, what if XRP is so successful and tons of coins are being burned and the rest is permanently held? I actually saw this question, I believe, in one of the older videos or so. I saw it maybe on Reddit or on Twitter, and nobody replied to it yet. Nobody gave an answer of what would happen if all the XRP coins were burned, or everybody's just holding tight to their XRP. So first of all, I would tell you that all the XRP coins getting burned is a impossible scenario. Now, the burn rate normally would be about, let's say, 5,000 XRP per day, right? Or 5,000 coins per day. And if you were to calculate that, you just do 5,000 times 365. You can quickly calculate it for yourself, whatever that number would be. If you just type it in the calculator here, times 365 is about 2 million XRP a year. Even if we were to do that times 10, so reaching 50,000 XRP being burned per year, and that is why this number right here, oh, I think my internet might have derped out. Doesn't matter too much for the video though. This is why this number right here is lower than the maximum supply. It's because of the burn. But XRP has been around for a couple of years, and you can see that the total supply, yeah, there's not really a dent that's being taken into it, but you can obviously get that because it's 100 billion, and each billion, of course, is 1,000 million. And so even if we were to go at 50,000 a day, it would be about 18 million a year, and you can calculate for yourself that it would take a very, very long time to even make a dent in this supply. So the only thing you can be wondering about is, once it becomes less, what will happen? Well, it will most likely give away to the scarcity effect of each coin will have a little of higher value, but I don't think it will ever in our lifetimes make a significant impact on the total supply, as the burn rate is just too low. Now, the burn rate will change, of course, and it might go higher than 50,000 a day, but even if it goes to 100,000 a day, which is about 20 times as huge as it is right now, that would mean a lot more transactions. It would still be only 36 million a year. And if it were to be, how many could we do? 1 million a day, it would be 365 million a year. It would still be 3 years before it takes off 1 billion. It will be very, very slow before all the supply is depleted. But the more supply gets depleted, I guess the richer we become to a certain perspective, because each XRP will be worth more. And actually, it's a really good thing to think about, because we're hoping that there will be tons of transactions using XRP. Yes, the more transactions that are going to be coming on, the more that will be burned. And also, in the end, the more money we'll be left with due to the scarcity effect. And in the end, you could theoretically say all the money that will be left is the money we're holding. But I don't think we'll ever get there. But it's a good question for the comment section and maybe for Twitter. What if we really go years forward, all right? What if we really go years forward and the total supply is so far down that there's no money left or something like that? I don't realistically think it's possible, but it's a kind of a funny idea to grasp, in the looser sense. So don't take this too seriously, but with a grain of salt. What would happen then? It's something just to think about and something I'm throwing out there. But the question most of y'all came here for is, how many XRP should I own? How much XRP do I need to retire? Well, if we go through a little bit, the whole plan can actually be split into 4 different points that you can see down below. The first, of course, is your retirement goal. The second is your XRP price prediction. The third is the amount of XRP you have and that you'll be able to accumulate between now and wanting to retire. And the fourth one is to match it all up. All right, I'm guessing now that you don't have a real retirement goal yet. I'm guessing now you don't have a real XRP price prediction, and I'm guessing you don't really know how much XRP you will have, or you want to deduce the amount of XRP based on the goal or based on the rest. Well, if you scroll through a little bit, you can see I posted a cool article here, which comes from Business Insider, which says, here's a link on what amount of money you should be thinking about to retire, right? And the link is, here's how much money you need to save to retire on a beach and play golf all day by the age of 40. And I'm sparing you a little bit of reading. It's that you can figure out approximately how much you need with a basic calculation, your desired annual retirement income divided by 4%. So, actually, it's your desired annual retirement income divided by 4%. So, for example, if you want to have 3,500, you have to divide that by 4%, which will be your amount of money you need to retire. So that's what you need to do. And when determining your magic retirement number, be honest with yourself. If you make $100,000 a day and spend all of your take-home pay, you are likely to be able to live happily on $50,000 a year in retirement. But the whole story is basically about, for example, if you wanted to have $3,500 a month in retirement money, you would probably need about $1 million saved up. Why? We should just put into your calculator $3,500 divided by 0.04, and it will get you to, I think, wait, you put 30, I think it's your annual, right? So 3,500 divide or times 12 is 42,000. Divide that by 0.04 is about $1,050,000. If you have $1,050,000, you'll be able to make about $3,500 on autopilot. How does that work? Well, you put that money in different places that will earn you at least 5% a year, and there's tons of places to do this. And I think even the general stock market will get you about 6-7% a year. And you might be saying like, oh, but Dusty, that's only in in good times in the economy. No, I'm talking about an average over the last 30 years and even before that. It will always average out to about maybe 6-7%. So yes, you can definitely make 5% for yourself. 1% is to make it increase your money so it doesn't go down. And in theory, you would also have to think about inflation. But I guess maybe, just if you go for 6%, you can take 2% off for inflation, then live off of 3.5% and 0.5% to make your money go up all the time instead of going down. But all right, since you have your amount of money right now, let's say it's $1 million, which is really the basic thing I would recommend you guys to go for. Please don't retire with less than $500,000 worth. It is not worth it. You're going to hurt yourself eventually in the buttocks if you decide to retire too loosely, too simply, too quickly, just because retiring is a lot more expensive than many people think. And also, this $40,000 a year, again, it could be finished pretty quickly if you don't watch out. And also, if the market does do a little bit of a bad job, it might look like you're going to become poor. You might stress yourself out and such. So I would recommend to go for at least $1 million, if not 2.5. Do you have a house already, though, is a very big variable in this whole situation. Are you renting one? Have you bought one? Are you done with those monthly payments and such? All those things should be taken into consideration when you're thinking about your end retirement goal. For example, if your house alone costs $2,200 a month, right? That's for some people, or $2,100, for example, for a lot of people. And then your health insurance, maybe your car insurance, all this adds up to $4,500 a month. Then yes, this whole retirement plan is not going to cut it. Or if you want to drive a Lamborghini all the time, which might cost you, let's say $3,500, maybe $4,000 a month, this is not going to cut it for you. But again, calculate accordingly to what you need. You can also go for 525, doesn't really matter. Now, again, calculate all your monthly expenses, needed/optional expenses, and once you got those, we gotta go look and give a little take at the XRP price prediction. Now, at first, when I started to make this video, I had a ton of articles in the top here, just talking about price predictions, talking about what the price could go to, why it could do this, why it could do that. And then I sat down for a second and thought, you know what? All these people can tell you different prices that XRP could go to, but none of them have to be correct. And in the end, you can form an opinion based on looking at most of them, but it's still what you expect yourself, since there's no guarantee either of them is going to be right, and there's no good or no bad prediction. It's really just about what you see fit, since nobody has the official answer. So that's why I kind of skipped out on showing other people's price predictions, because also another person wants to retire this year, another person wants to retire in 10 more years. It all depends, right? So just put up XRP price prediction for yourself in, for example, you go for $10, right? You want to go for $10 each XRP. That's what you think it's going to get to. That's completely good then. By the way, I put twice the same thing I see now. Right, if you scroll through a little bit, you gotta calculate or think about how many XRP you will hold whenever you want to retire, or how many you'll be able to accumulate. And I've said it pretty often, this whole video is not financial advice and purely for entertainment purposes only. But if you want to retire using XRP, there's a couple of other things you're gonna have to take into consideration. For example, is your goal to have all your assets into XRP and then have that be above your retirement amount? What will you do once you hit your retirement amount? For example, you hit $1 million worth of XRP. Will you cash all of it out with the plan right here? I mean, there's a lot of different exchanges which you can cash out from. Or will you keep it in XRP and go for the annual gains in the crypto market, which is more risky? There's a lot of things you can do right there. But if you have taken all that into consideration, you gotta kind of specify the amount of XRP you'll be holding once it gets to your price point, and then you gotta match them all up and you'll find out. So for example, if you're having $50 per XRP as a prediction, which is really quite high, but hey, and you have 25,000 XRP, you're going to be left with, again, $1.25 million worth of money once this happens, which means you'll be able to retire. And I just quickly put them in yellow right here. I know there's a lot of others I could have put into this little table, but it's just to give you guys an indication that if you're thinking about $10 a coin, you're still going to need a big amount, a huge amount, a ton of XRP. You're still going to need 100,000 XRP to be able to retire at whatever age you want to go for. You're still going to need quite a lot of XRP. You can see a couple more down below here. 100,000 XRP, $10 is 1 million. And you can see, I think I should have moved it to the next page, but I think you guys can still clearly see all the yellow ones are where it's able to retire simply, safely. The white ones are some that are not preferable, and the more to the left, up left, I guess, the less preferable it is, and the more right and down you go, the better. But yeah, once you've picked any of these variables, right, you can just match them up for yourself, and you got yourself the magic number. You know exactly how much XRP you need. Now, normally in videos, I also show you guys a sheet where you can just do simple calculations, but I kind of skipped it out for now. I don't know, I couldn't find it anymore on my computer. I don't know exactly what the name was. I couldn't find it in my sheets, so I think it's on a different Google account maybe. I don't really know. But what I think you should go for if you want to calculate it is just go for a quantity times the price, and you'll find out exactly how much money that will be worth. And otherwise, you just make a little bit of a smart formula for yourself, so quantity XRP times the price is, of course, retirement amount. You guys get it, what I wrote there, retirement amount. That's a simple thing you could go for. And you could just, if you know anything about, I guess, maths, or what is it called, calculating, you'll be able to figure out how to change every variable around. For example, if you want to know quantity XRP, you just divide both by the price, which will be, of course, let's type it out real quick. Quantity is then retirement amount, or let's just do Q, retirement amount. Oh no, that's annoying. Retirement amount divided by price, for example. And you could go for price is retire amount divided by quantity. You can just go around and calculate anything you would want to go for. It's basically all the same thing, right? If you know one of them, you'll be able to figure the other one out. I mean, if you know two of them, you'll be able to figure the third one out. If you want to, start off with your, all right, I have a goal in mind for my $1 million, right? How much should my price be? How many XP should I hold? Just make a quick little formula in Sheets. I could have done it, but I forgot. And just calculate it for yourself real quick. Now, new points though. Should you sell XRP? This is actually a lot bigger than some people might be thinking about. There's no good retirement plan I can make without having a bigger option in what you're going to be investing in. So to put that into perspective, once you got yourself to $1 million, what are you going to do? Because you got to get yourself about 5 to 7% a year as a return on that to be able to, go forward on your money and not go backwards, and to always preserve your wealth. But how would you like to do that, and how many risks would you be able to take, or how much of a risk do you want to take, right? And that's why I put that here as a really important point, because, for example, it also depends on when you think you'll be able to achieve this. If you think that 2060 is going to be the year in which XRP will reach your destination target, then I would say there's a good chance that crypto is so developed that you'll be able to buy your house. You'll be able to buy anything you want. You'll be able to buy stocks using XRP as a currency instead of US dollars. So then there will be no need for step 7 of cashing out, since XRP is the only quote-unquote digital cash you're going to be needing ever. But if, for example, you want to go for it next year, then crypto will most likely not be as adapted, and you will have to go for cashing out or finding an alternative like trading to get yourself that 5 to 7% a year. And now, that's something that's up for a ton of debate, but I guess you'll just have to think about that for yourself because everybody wants to go for it differently. If I were to choose, I would just go for a couple of index funds, and you could go for just one, but I would go for maybe like three and divide it a little bit in there. But I guess that's just a little bit more into traditional 401k type of stuff. Really, here we're talking about how much do you need to retire? Will it be able to make you a millionaire? Well, again, it depends on how much money you start off with. In theory, though, it will always be able to do that, right? Because it will grow in value, most likely, and if you just check back into bull run times, I don't know the exact percentages, but if you got in at 25 cents, for example, right now, if it goes to $1, it will be times 4. If it goes to $10, it'll be times 40, and if you just think about that, $25 times 40, you already got yourself quite far right there. And also, the lower the XP price goes right now, the easier it's going to be to get yourself to a millionaire. For example, if it goes to 10 cents again, it'll be a lot simpler to become a millionaire with it eventually. And also, if you just calculate to all-time high, from this point on, it's, to $1, of course, is times 4, and then to $4 times 4 again is times 16. So any amount of money or you desire, for example, $1 million, if you want to retire with that, you divide it by 16 is about $62,000 you would need right now to get to $1 million once we hit bull run times. I mean, $60,000 is a freak ton of money, but to become a millionaire with in the span of no time, possibly, that's not too much. And this whole plan, this whole idea works with every currency. You could just simply use it like that. But this video is not necessarily to, make you retire with XRP or really talk about XRP only. It's more so to give you an idea of what it will take to get where with cryptocurrency, as I do believe for many people it's the moon option. It's the get rich or die trying type of system, or your only chance at living a luxurious life and such. And that's why I want to, for some people, put it into perspective of how much you'll get, how much you're going to need, how big it will change your life, because you sometimes got to see it in front of you to be able to believe it. I think that's at least something I'm really convinced of, because if you don't think about this once every so often, you start to lose grasp of what you're really doing it for. You're just thinking, all right, XP needs to go up, all right, but what will it do then? Even if it goes to $1, what will you have achieved? Where will you be? What's your plan? Always have a plan when holding cryptocurrency. Why? Otherwise, you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose the game. Trust me, guys. You're going to lose the game if you don't have a plan. I will repeat: you are going to lose the game eventually if you don't have a plan. If you don't have a plan, you'll most likely not cash out. You'll most likely lose money in the end. You'll most likely buy high, sell cheap, or maybe do one of those mistakes or combine them all together, and you'll mess up at one point. I've seen tons of people who entered crypto in 2013 for the first time, maybe 2015, and then really sold back in 2016 or so. I guess maybe my numbers are wrong. I think entered in like maybe 2000 and whatever, doesn't matter. They bought at cheap prices, sold a little bit higher, then bought even higher than that, sold lower, and for example, went back into crypto at the end of 2017 and then sold back lower. Why? Because they don't know when to take profits. They don't know what they want with crypto. They became rich. They're seeing those dollar signs in front of their eyes. They're like, wow, I have so much money. But they're not selling because they're like, wow, I need to make more money, more money, more. And then in the end, now they have, they're back to $10,000 a piece. They're back to $10,000 per person because they didn't sell any single cent worth of crypto. I think it's going to happen to a lot of people once again, once we get into another big major run. Many people are going to be falling for it, but I'm warning you, make sure you always prepare for any scenario and keep cashing out once we're at these higher prices. And higher, I guess you would see from this perspective on forward or point forward. If XP hits $10 and you're not cashing out a single cent, I'm sorry, but that's not a very wise financial decision. Unless XRP is at such a stage, which some people are hoping for, that you don't need anything next to XRP to be able to live happily, right? You'll be able to buy everything you want through XRP, maybe, for example, through Visa cards or something or like that, or you really have so much money now that you can do anything you want, right, quickly, or you buy yourself a couple of houses worth of XRP so you're golden. I don't know. But I would personally recommend everybody have a plan, think about it very, very well. Also, make sure we discuss in the comment section down below about the burn rate. Am I understanding something wrong? Am I, not explaining anything to you guys right? Let me know in the comment section down below, because this burn rate phenomenon is actually quite interesting. Never thought about it that quickly. Here they're saying, at an average burn rate of 5,000 per day, this would make a total of 1.8 million a year at the current rate. But as stated before, this average daily burn rate will accelerate with time during the process of XRP mass adoption. Some commentators claim that 25,000 XRP are being burned per day, but this figure is closer to the figure we'll probably see at some point this year, some future point this year. Well, again, it's not at 25,000. But even if it were to be, even if it were to be at, 50,000 a day, it still is not that big of a deal at all. Even if it were to at 100,000 a day, even if it were at 200,000 a day, it doesn't make that big of a dent into the whole XRP supply yet. Maybe at one point it will, but that's again what we're kind of watching for and what I want to make a discussion point for. And also, what do you think about retiring with 4% a year? How would you like that? And how do you think it will work out? And also, how do you like the retirement plan? What should I add to it? There's a couple of points I've been adding, like where to cash out. And should I make this thing public? Should I share it in the Discord? Make sure you let me know. And I'll see you guys again in another crypto video. Don't forget to press the like button if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe for more daily content. And I'll see you guys again in another crypto video. Take care, everybody, and have a very, very nice day.